was du bist. Du bist Jude. Ich hab's auf deinen Papieren gesehen. Ich möchte nicht, dass du sie anfasst. Hast du verstanden?
It's the spring of 45 and the Nazi high command are in full retreat. Left behind is teenage Laura, the daughter of a German officer, who must now lead her siblings through the forest in search of dubious sanctuary. The country is changing, the Third Reich is over, and the former pocket Nazis must adapt quickly or die. Catherine, this is a wartime drama that shows a side of the war that isn't usually seen on screen, is it?
That's true, but I think the fact that you don't sort of see this side of the war and they are, the enemy is sort of mitigated in a way by the fact they're innocent children, and so they could be any nationality on any side of the war. They're just poor little children. So I think that's sort of one of the least exceptional things about this film. I'm not sure it is an exceptional film. It's certainly very good. It's got a very single focus. This young family's walk through the forest. For me, it could have done with. It's got a strange sort of blend of woozy, sunny vision and sort of gritty horror. There's an awful lot of blooded corpses along the way. It could have done, for me, with a bit less artistic license and a bit more focus, a bit more kind of austere cinematography.
It's certainly over-decorated,
yeah.
I think. There's a lot of wafting grass and wafting curtains and that sort of long shadows in the forest and things like that she's a bit obsessed by, this Australian director, Kate Shortland, and kind of falls prey to that a bit. But at the same time, that does give it a kind of, like you say, a woozy intensity as well.
I would have preferred a bit less of, we were saying that Malick's films are like a, paint ad or a perfume ad. It's a bit
I was going to say, it's all right for Terrence Malick to do it, but...
But it is fantastically good in many ways, this film. The central performance is wonderful. It's sort of shocking, it's incredibly gripping, it's moving, it's sort of quite sexy.
There's that sort of thrumming eroticism that sort of goes through it as well.
Yeah.
Hen, did the thrumming eroticism work for you?
I was frummed to my core. I really liked it. It reminded me a little bit of a Chilean film which I think came out a couple of years ago called We Are What We Are, which was a story about a cannibal family, and when the parents are removed from that setup, then the kids have to learn to survive on their own.
Work out whether what they've been taught all their life is a good thing or a bad thing.
Exactly that. It's this feeling of an indoctrination being passed down a generation and them slowly realising that they've been brought up as mini monsters in a way, but they're going to have to survive in the world as what they've grown into.
Catherine, the catalyst for this film is the arrival of a Jewish runaway who, again, it defies your expectations because he comes in as the nominal hero and yet the nominal heroine regards him with utter distaste.
Yeah, well, complicated distaste, I think, sexy distaste. So, and it's a bit, there's many more twists along that journey. I think that, for me, is evidence of how this is sort of a film that feels incredibly contemporary because it has got that coming of age kind of gauze, that these sort of ethnic tensions, and it feels very like it's being viewed through the eyes of a 2012 filmmaker. If you compare it to Louis Malle films, which felt much more, even though they were a distance of 30 years or something, this feels much more removed. This feels like the war was a long, long time ago, which it was.
But it's become like a Bavarian fairy tale, hasn't it?
And the Black Forest element, it has got a lot of fairy tale elements.
Eine Kugel kam geflogen, gilt sie mir oder gilt sie dir? Ihn hat es weggerissen, liegt vor meinen Füßen, als wär's ein Stück von mir. Als wär's ein Stück von mir.